On the morning of the 8th day, after a brief stop in Drumcliff, Ireland, we continued north, crossing the border into Northern Ireland and arriving at Londonderry. Londonderry, the second largest city in Northern Ireland, is distinguished by having the only fully intact city walls remaining on the island of Ireland, the Derry Walls. Our first stop was at the Free Derry corner in Londonderry. This wall embodies the cornerstone of the city's recent history, with the slogan, "You are now entering Free Derry," bearing witness to the long-standing conflict between Irish Republicans and pro-British factions. The location of the memorial wall was once the epicenter of the Troubles. Next, we headed to the Diamond War Memorial in the city center of Londonderry. The monument in the square was designed by sculptor Vernon March in 1927 to honor those who lost their lives in the First and Second World Wars. A 5-minute walk from the Diamond War Memorial brought us to one of Londonderry's most famous landmarks, the Guildhall. This reddish-brown brick neo-Gothic building with Tudor influences is one of the must-see tourist attractions in Londonderry. At noon, we left Londonderry, passing over the Peace Bridge on the Foyle River, heading towards one of Northern Ireland's main attractions, the Giant's Causeway. The Giant's Causeway is located on the north coast of Northern Ireland, along the Atlantic Ocean. It consists of tens of thousands of basalt columns, varying in size and mostly hexagonal in shape, forming a spectacular pathway extending for several kilometers. It is recognized as one of UNESCO's World Heritage Sites and is one of Northern Ireland's most famous tourist destinations. As one approaches the Giant's Causeway, the initial impression might not match the expectation of something gigantic. However, observing the crowd standing on the causeway, they appear quite tiny in comparison. These columns, though seemingly chaotic, are stacked in an orderly fashion, resembling stairs that one could easily ascend. Visitors enjoy hopping from column to column, climbing up and down, having a great time. The columns extend vertically from the cliffs into the sea. Some resemble neatly stacked walls, others resemble skyscrapers in a city skyline, while still others resemble geometrically shaped carpets or objects like the giant's boot, the wishing chair, among others. Human imagination has given these cold stone columns vivid imagery. The grand landscape created by the basalt columns attracts numerous travelers. Yet, its allure extends beyond its physical beauty. Travelers can also listen to the legends behind the columns. One version of the legend tells of ancient times when there were two giants, Finn Mac Cumhale from Ireland and Bonandanner from Scotland, who had never met but wanted to challenge each other's strength. Since there were no large enough boats to carry the giants, the Irish giant built a causeway along the coast so that the Scottish giant could walk across to Ireland. Upon receiving the challenge, the Scottish giant came as agreed. However, upon seeing the formidable opponent, the Irish giant became terrified and fled back home, following the advice of his wife, Unac, who suggested he pretend to be a baby lying in a cradle. When the Scottish giant saw the enormous baby in the cradle, he became scared, thinking about how terrifying the baby's father must be. So, he hastily retreated to Scotland, destroying the causeway behind him. Thus, What remains of the Giant's Causeway today are only the ends. One end is in Northern Ireland, while the other end is on the island of Staffa in Scotland. The legend and reality intertwine. After visiting the Giant's Causeway, we arrived at the capital of Northern Ireland, Belfast. Belfast is the largest city and largest port in Northern Ireland, and the second largest city on the island of Ireland after Dublin. Here, we participated in a 2-hour city tour, first visiting the Parliament Building of Northern Ireland, also known as Stormont because it is located in the Stormont Estate area of Belfast. This white mountain villa serves as the office for the Northern Ireland Parliament. The Grand Prince of Wales Avenue leads to the Parliament Building, lined with young red twig lime trees, also known as the Royal Avenue. Stormont is a popular attraction for history and political enthusiasts, with its main building being listed as a Grade A protected building in 1987. Next, we toured Belfast City Hall, located in Donegal Square in the heart of Belfast. Built with Portland stone limestone, this building is considered a masterpiece of Renaissance architecture. That evening, we stayed at the Maldron Hotel near Belfast International Airport, concluding our busy itinerary for the 8th day. On the 9th day, we visited the Titanic Museum at the entrance of Belfast Harbour. This museum, constructed with reflective aluminum panels, creates a sense of waves and icebergs, grand and atmospheric. Since its opening in 2012, the Titanic Museum has garnered approximately 15 awards across various categories. Early in the morning, we arrived at the world's largest and most authentic Titanic-themed exhibition hall. The museum spans 8 floors with over 12,000 square meters of floor space, featuring a series of exhibition halls exploring aspects of the Titanic's design, construction, sinking, and legacy. Visitors can experience the Titanic's bridge and construction scenes through a guided mini-cart tour.
Belfast, my to rebuild the triple expansion engines. It was still work. You had to bend them more than you overlapped on the edges. Some were raised. Squad, all had its good development. For work. I get scared working down in that double bottom. You only have candles for light. The constant hammering against the shell.
The museum consists of 9 interactive exhibition halls, covering various aspects of the Titanic's history. The first hall recreates the prosperity of Belfast in the early 20th century during the Titanic's construction. The main part of the second hall features a 20-meter-high representation of the aero gantry, built for the construction of the Olympic-class liners. The third hall depicts the scene when the Titanic was launched in May 1911. The fourth hall illustrates the equipping process of the Titanic from its launch until its departure in April 1912. The fifth hall showcases the Titanic's maiden voyage. The sixth hall describes the events of the disaster and sinking on April 14th to 15th, 1912, with background sounds playing the SOS signals sent via Morse code to other ships. The seventh hall introduces the aftermath of the disaster. The eighth hall presents the legends and myths sparked by the sinking, which have been widely circulated through films, dramas, books, and poems. Celine Dion's song, "My Heart Will Go On," plays in the background, allowing visitors to explore the popular culture inspired by the Titanic. The final hall displays the wreckage of the Titanic, now located at a depth of 12,000 feet in the North Atlantic. Here, there are no Jack and Rose from the movie Titanic, no unforgettable love story, but it leads you into the real Titanic. From construction to sinking, every moment of the Titanic is recorded here, evoking deep sighs. After touring the Titanic Museum, we concluded our journey in Northern Ireland. In the afternoon of the 9th day, we boarded a ferry from Belfast to Cairnryan, Scotland. In the next video, we'll continue to share the itinerary of the Best of UK and Ireland tour.